If you own property in the UK, if you're investing, or even thinking about stepping onto the housing ladder, you need to understand what's really happening right now beneath the surface. Because something much bigger is building in the global economy, and most people still haven't connected the dots. This isn't just another headline or short-term issue. This could quietly become one of the biggest hidden pressures on UK house prices today. And the reason it's so dangerous is simple. It doesn't look obvious at first. It builds slowly in the background, until suddenly it starts affecting everything at once. And by the time most people realize what's happening, the market has already shifted. Right now, the conflict in the Middle East is escalating again, and global organizations like the International Monetary Fund have already warned that if tensions continue, the impact could be serious enough to push parts of the global economy toward recession. But here's the key point most people completely miss. When pressure like this enters the system, it doesn't stay in one place. It doesn't just affect one country or one industry. It spreads quietly at first, then all at once. And it moves through very specific channels that eventually reach right into the UK housing market. It starts with energy, because global conflict almost always disrupts energy supply chains. And when supply becomes uncertain, prices don't just rise, they spike. Higher energy prices don't just mean higher bills. They increase the cost of producing goods, transporting materials, running businesses, and building homes. That pressure feeds directly into inflation. And when inflation starts rising again, central banks have no choice but to respond. And their main weapon is interest rates, which means the moment inflation rises, the cost of borrowing begins to rise as well. And that's where the housing market starts to feel the real impact. Now here's why this hits the UK harder than most other major economies. The UK is one of the most exposed countries in the G7 when it comes to energy dependency. We rely heavily on imported gas, not just for heating millions of homes, but also for generating a large portion of our electricity, which means we are directly tied to global energy prices. And unlike countries with stronger energy independence, we don't have much control when prices move. We don't set the cost, we react to it. And that makes the UK far more sensitive to global instability than people realize. But it gets even more serious, because the UK also has very limited gas storage capacity compared to other nations. Countries like France and Germany have built large reserves that allow them to absorb shocks and stabilize prices over time. The UK doesn't have that same level of protection. So when global energy prices surge, we don't have a strong buffer. The impact hits faster and often harder. That's why when global instability rises, the UK economy doesn't adjust gradually. It reacts sharply. And those sharp reactions quickly show up in the cost of living, inflation, and borrowing. And this is where everything connects together, in a way that directly impacts property. Rising energy prices push inflation higher. Higher inflation forces interest rates upward. And higher interest rates make mortgages more expensive. That reduces how much buyers can borrow. It reduces demand in the market. And at the same time, more pressure builds on households already struggling with higher costs. This is the chain reaction happening right now. Not instantly, but steadily, step by step. And that's why the property market doesn't suddenly crash. It slowly comes under pressure. Demand weakens, affordability tightens, and the balance begins to shift. And the people who understand this early are the ones who stay ahead of the market instead of reacting too late.